Hey, Obscurist Tourist here. We are in Chaffee County in the middle of the Colorado Rockies. And today we're going to be exploring a true ghost town called St. Elmo. And this place has been pretty much abandoned since 1922. So let's give it a go. St. Elmo, Colorado. So here we are in St. Elmo on this beautiful, sunny Tuesday afternoon. It was not the easiest drive to get here, and like I always say, if it's easy to get to, it's probably not worth going to. And as you can see, St. Elmo is covered in a thick blanket of snow, as one would expect here high in the Rocky Mountains. In December, no less. And I thought I'd show you just one of the many side, perhaps logging roads leading to the old mines surrounding St. Elmo. And this one in particular is just off the main road. And these are some of the many original houses and buildings. Let's start from the beginning. St. Elmo was founded 140 years ago in 1880. And nearly 2,000 people settled here in a relatively short amount of time. Now, as the mining industry began to wane in the early 1920s, people started to hightail it out of here. And due to St. Elmo's secluded location, it sort of sealed the fate for this gold and silver mining town. This place really is frozen in time, both figuratively and literally, especially here in the winter months. St. Elmo is actually one of Colorado's best preserved ghost towns. And as you can see over there on that sign, it's even listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Now, let's see if I can step over this snow and take a peek through the window. And there's not really a lot to see. Most of St. Elmo's original structures, 43 buildings, wooden buildings to be exact, are not only still standing, but in amazing condition. Surprising considering their age and the extreme weather they've had to endure over the years high up here in the mountains. This building here is actually the town's post office, and it doesn't look like anyone's been in that building in a really, really long time. And this post office actually closed down in 1952, just after the death of the postmaster. This main road would have been absolutely bustling in the 1890s, and it would have provided everything people could ever want, including a telegraph office, general store, saloons, dancing halls, a newspaper office, and a schoolhouse. It even had five hotels to cater to visitors and temporary residents. Even though St. Elmo is considered a ghost town, like most ghost towns I come across, people still actually live here. And I've had a lot of people over the years ask me how places like this can be considered a ghost town when somebody still lives here. Well, the term ghost town can actually sometimes refer to a place that is still populated, but significantly less so than in years past. That being said, I've seen just one person here, and it's Tuesday afternoon. I think it would be safe to assume that most people who live here are seasonal residents, meaning this place truly is a ghost town in the winter months, as it is right now. Your guess is as good as mine as to what this building would have been: a hotel, or perhaps even a general store. You see the wood-burning fireplace right there, and it looks like whoever worked here, they also played hard here too. Just look at those old beer bottles lining the shelves. And this building here, marked Miners Exchange, was actually the town's general store, and as the name suggests, a trading post where local miners had their valuable finds weighed, measured, and paid out. And the Miners Exchange building is probably the most photographed building in town. So if you ever look up St. Elmo, this is probably the photo that will pop up on your web browser. This is the town hall, though I'm not really sure if this is the original building because I've read it burned down in a fire in 2002. In the basement, that's where you would have found the town jail, which helped keep St. Elmo's townsfolk and visitors in check. Now that snow-covered road right there on my right coming up, that leads to Tin Cup Pass. And eventually, a few miles down the road, that becomes one of the highest and most dangerous roads in Colorado. Now, it's in the middle of winter, and it sits at an elevation, at its highest, of 12,154 feet. So I'm not even going to attempt to head up that way today. Apparently, even snow is present on the pass until early July. And while I've been enjoying the town and the spectacular views, it seems someone has been watching me from that very window right up there. Can you see him? Look real close. There he is. Hey, buddy. I guess at least one of St. Elmo's remaining residents has a good sense of humor, though I'm not the biggest fan of mannequins in abandoned houses, especially in ghost towns. Oh, and there is another one of the town's residents keeping a keen eye on me while I take a look around town. Luckily, this is a friendly black bear. And how do I know that? Well, I know that because Colorado doesn't have any grizzly bears, which I don't know about you, but I find that fact pretty surprising. I was really hoping to walk around all of these little mining back roads shooting out of St. Elmo, but unfortunately, because of the snow, no dice for me today. This particular one leads to the Mary Murphy mine, which was the lifeblood of St. Elmo in its heyday, and the main reason, really, why people even decided to settle here in the 1800s. And it looks like somebody is actually living in this white and brown little adorable house right on the outskirts of St. Elmo, one of the only houses that looks to be occupied on this main strip. And if you look off in the distance, what a view they have of the mountains and directly below the river. And if you look right across the street here, that is the old livery stable where horse owners back in the day used to pay a fee to house their horses. Well, that's our little foray into St. Elmo. And I'd love to stick around a little bit longer, but my fingers and toes won't forgive me later. It is absolutely freezing here. We are at an elevation about 11,000 feet, and it is December, middle of December, so it's winter, as you can see around. So let's get out of here. This is Obscurist Tourist signing off. And until the next adventure, toodaloo and stay beautiful.